the intelligence part of the game, knowing when to take his shots, what types of tools to use in certain situations. The game of football is filled with every place a situation. Devin's done a great job of matching what we call to that situation and adapting his skill set and his game to it. And I think most of all is him understanding what his body can and can't do in different situations that we put him in. We put him inside, he knows his strength and weakness. Put him outside, he knows his strength and weaknesses. And for someone with that experience, it's fun to see him apply it in all those different areas.
And his body has changed so much during that time. So he can do a lot more.
So much more. He's stronger, he's more flexible. Before, you can't even touch his toes, you can't bend, you know. But he's just so much more confident.
I know you developed a lot of guys who I'm sure came in raw and came out much more developed. Anyone who's kind of made that big of a leap that you've coached that comes to mind immediately?
Mozzie Smith, the nose tackle at Michigan, like he came in, you see his body when he came in, just completely changed when he left. He's probably the one that stands out.
Cowboys?
He's with the Cowboys now, yeah.
I know he's not on the edge, but just what's it been like for you to see Kobe Pepe from day one when you were here?
That's another good one right there. Kobe Pepe, like that's another great one. Just, you know, Devin is probably the one that we give a lot of props to, but Kobe is another guy that he always had, you know, his body transformation was different. You see him coming out of high school, he's more like a 3-tech, maybe a DN / now he's like a full-time nose tackle body, and just to see him take advantage of that transformation is awesome as well.
What sort of a presence did Anthony Lucas have with the team this spring? Obviously, we didn't see him on the field, just recovering. What sort of presence do you have in meeting rooms and stuff?
His just his hunger and when you get hurt and you're out, you just have a different perspective and appreciation for the game. So he's done a great job of just trying to help out the young guys, like take advantage of all the opportunities that you can get. And then especially with the playbook, you know, we have some young guys that come in and he's done a good job of helping them out.
No, I'm not saying he's Aiden, but you coached Aiden Hutchinson and
Nobody's
does Cam Fountain have any similar traits that you've seen from him as a pass rusher?
Very similar, but they're all different, man. There's not going to be another Aiden. There's not going to be another Thule, and I hope Cam is better than all of them. You know, just because he's who we have now, and there's stuff that Cam can do early on in his career that Aiden and Thule and those guys probably couldn't do, but same vice versa. But it's very, very fun and it's exciting.
Aiden gonna lead the NFL in sacks this year?
He's better. He's better.
I'm a Lions fan. So
no way. How'd you become a Lions fan? They were bad for so many. You are?
I went to Michigan.
Are you a Wolverine then?
I am.
Man, what's he doing in here?
Wait, you were a Wolverine?
Was. I'm a Trojan now. Nah, man. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I love that place.
I was a long-suffering Lions fan, so it's finally paying off all my years of dedication.
I love what they're doing, man. I think Barry Sanders is proud. That's my favorite running back right there.
Me too, obviously. Yeah. Thanks, Shaun.
I appreciate you, bro.
With Elijah Newby, joining that room, how did he kind of take to that change and just learning a new position?
Listen, I don't think, man, that is a special young man right there, man, Elijah Newby, to ask him to move to D-line, and we might ask him to do multiple stuff, so he's done a great job but that's who he is first and foremost. You got to look at his mentality, how unselfish he is. You ask him, well, what's best for the team? That's like his first answer. So he's done a great job providing depth too with Lucas being out during spring, and he's a young man that loves the game of football. There's some adjustments that he has to get used to, especially from a size perspective. He's not the biggest, so we got to make him understand how to utilize his speed more to take advantage of his shortcomings.
Any stories from that speed showing up on the field, like on the practice field this spring?
When he knows exactly what he's doing, it's hard to block him on the edge, and then you'll see him run to the ball and all that kind of stuff. It's fun to have different types of tools in your bag.
I'm always curious how position changes come. Is that like you see something, you're like, hey, Coach Riley, I think we need to move, or does he come to you like, I think we want to add?
No,
line to-"
majority of the time is that we control it. You see a skill or an asset that you feel like could help you on the edge. You go watch his high school stuff. That's probably where it first started. You watch Newbie in high school, he comes off the edge very well. So I was like, we're going into this sprint with no Anthony Lucas. That's out of body. While we're waiting for Gus Cordova and Ramos to get here. So it was one of those, we need a little bit more depth. And then who's qualified? And you see Newbie and his skill set. So it's necessity.
We talk a lot about his speed, but where have you seen his strength show up in the spring? Obviously, it looks like he's added some weight up top. And
Yeah, he's had some weight, and every time you have a young man in your program, every year is a plus because of the experience and the knowledge that they gain. So he's already been a playboy, even though he learned it from a linebacker perspective. Well, linebackers has to know what the front is doing. So you see him adapt and adjust very well in the transition that we asked him to be in.
You mentioned Jaden and Gus coming in. Do you anticipate both of those guys playing on the edge defensive end for you?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Jaden was a late target you guys had. What did you guys see on tape that you guys wrote?
Explosiveness. You saw some twitchiness on the film, and then you meet him. You're like, oh, he really does have some good height, and then you see the upside of it. So it's probably the first trait is I always like guys that love the game of football. The next one is explosiveness, and that's what he has.
I've heard a lot of guys talk about the escape room experience you guys had over the winter team bonding. How was that for you as the coach with all these guys running around?
I didn't like it. My favorite part was to watch them work together. And I told them, I'm just going to sit here because I know all the answers already. I'll let you guys handle it. Would it be fair if I adjusted? But I just think that was Devin Tompkins' idea. And once you empower these young men to lead, that's where the real magic happens. And it was a fun experience for me.
Have you seen anything change mentally for Cam? Just, how he ended last season, just playing more, getting some sacks, just going into this year?
Yeah, it's one of those things like you don't play a lot. You don't get to eat, and then once you start tasting the meal, you're like, oh, I want more of that. That's exactly what's happening with Cam right now. He got a good taste of it, and now he wants more, and I'm like, shoot, this is a buffet, Cam. Go eat all you want. So it's one of those things that it was a big plus that he got those experiences at the end of the year last year.
Where have you seen this game kind of grow throughout this offseason, through spring? Where have you seen it grow?
The intelligence part. I don't know if Cam knew what a gap was when we first got here. Now he can line up, and he's willing to line up anywhere and play. So the fact that he took his game to that level, because it was never about his physical ability, it was always about the mental part. And this young man is so proud of how he accepted that challenge, and he's now embracing it.
Are you and Coach Henny just like super giddy at all the depth you guys have this year and the size?
Very, but I'm at the point of my career now. I'll get giddy when our goals are accomplished.
What are the goals for you? Or this
to maximize the potential of our guys, and we truly believe if we can maximize their potential, that's where winning games and championships comes back. So that's why our focus is just what's important today. You know what I mean? And that's our main focus. It's just so to answer your question, are we giddy? Heck yeah, we are giddy, but we also know we got work to do.
We asked Coach Hansen about going up against the D-line all spring. What did you see going up against that O-line all spring?
There's some young guys that they threw in there. Unfortunately, there were some injuries. You see them that they're still trying to come together as a unit. But we are also excited with some of the guys that like Alani, Tobias. Those are some of the guys that stood out. You know what I mean? So it was impressive to see them grow as well, because I know Alani played a lot, but Tobias did, but he stood out to us as well. So it's fun to see their potential too. Probably not as many people talk about their potential as much as the D-line is, but they got some stuff there.
How have you seen Braylan handle this offseason mentally? A guy who had a really high expectation going into the season as a starter, did get some starts, maybe didn't have the production that he was hoping for, but how have you seen him attack this offseason and handle it mentally?
Braylan always attacks it the right way. Durability is a big part of this game, and there's certain ways you challenge guys if they're some of the things that they're probably deficient on, things they need to work on. Braylan, he stays healthy, he's going to be a very impactful player. Some people you challenge from an intellect standpoint, skill standpoint. He understands exactly, and it's not a question of him attacking. If he is attacking, he's doing a great job. You see the weight room; his numbers are high, and he loves to play the game. You just gotta stay healthy.
We saw Jakeem obviously bouncing back and forth. What did you see when he was working with you with those defensive ends?
That he's capable of doing it all. Probably way more sounder on the interior, but when he's dialed in and know exactly what he's doing on the edge, you see the potential. So we want to make sure that with someone with that talent, we want to make sure that utilize them as much as possible, as long as his mentals and his confidence not affected. So that's a major focus for us to make sure that that's not interrupted, and he wants more, man. So that's the positive thing about Jakeem is he is a football guy.
Coach Henny said something about him not having to be Superman on every play.
Yeah.
Is that something you've seen, just like trying to...
That's the message to everybody. It's just, you have a specific job. You do that job to the best of your ability without doing someone else's job. That's the name of the game. That's why this is the ultimate team sport. And if he does his job, yes, he probably can do two people's job, but that's not the focus. And sometimes it hurts him, but there's also times you're like, holy smoke, he did a good job, but we want to emphasize just perfect your job.
How do you balance that with a guy who's kind of built to be an outside guy, but he also can play inside? And he's super young. How do you kind of manage where he fits in the role, or how does it all work?
I always base off his confidence, and his confidence comes from what he knows. If I feel like it's too much, I'll be like, Henny, let's just leave him inside today. Install today was too much for him. You know what I mean? Let's tell off. And then I think, that's why working with Henny is so awesome, because we have the same goal, and we are going to accomplish those goals because we're attacking the same way. So if we feel like it's too much from an install, we'll probably leave him in one spot. But the spring is the greatest thing that's ever happened to him, because by the time fall camp comes, he's going to probably want to play linebacker. That's how much knowledge that we are throwing at him.
Did Jay play on the edge with you at all? Or
No, very little. Yeah, he got too big, man. Yeah. But he is capable. Yeah.
What has you most excited about your position group this season?
I'm excited the most to see how much this group can come together and work together, because I really believe they can take over a game. That's what I'm most excited about. I'm not saying they're there yet. We're not. But the excitement is there to bring these guys together, and they are doing a great job of just keep coming together and working together for the goal of every play should be a domination play from the defensive line.
You brought up Ramos earlier. What do you see from Gus Cordova?
Oh, man. I think Gus is still running over here. He can't wait to get here, and he's another guy with a lot of passion for the game. We're going to get him here and do a good job of transitioning him into, we're excited about his intensity more than anything else.
Sacks were kind of hard to come by last year consistently. Is there anything you've seen this spring or this offseason where you're like, we're going to be better? We're going to be better this season?
I always start with myself. What can me as a coach do to help them? I will always take the blame for little sacks and all that stuff, but what have we seen this year is just guys understanding that as well. Sacks are hard to come by, so the efficiency to execute every single play to get to the quarterback, especially if the offense decides to pass, there's the urgency that is beyond understanding right now that we got to get to. So what I've seen is they got the assignment, they got the message. We got to get to that backfield.